Hey everybody, welcome back. It's time for another road trip pilgrimage. Today we're going to go visit St. Anselm's Abbey down in Manchester, New Hampshire. So let's go check it out. Hey Moose, you want to go for a car ride? All right, let's go. I missed my green. Daggum Moose. On the road again, I just can't wait to get on the road again. La-da-da, is visiting churches with my friends, and I just can't wait to get on the road again. Okay, here we are. We're pulling up for the very first time to St. A's. I'm sure we'll find where to go right away. We've been circling the parking lot here at St. A's for about 35 minutes. We're gonna run out of battery in the camera. I'm gonna run out of gas in the car. We'll find it. We'll find it. All right, here we are at St. Anselm. We're gonna see if we can find somebody to talk to. Hey, Brother
Josh.
Brother Francis, good to see you. So this is Brother Francis. He's one of the monks here at St. Anselm Abbey, and he's agreed to show us around.
Come on in. So we're here in the foyer of our beautiful Abbey Church. The first thing that might strike you is the wood and the brick. You're going to see a lot of that while you're in here. Some stained glass windows in the entrance doors, but also we have two concrete statues of St. Anselm over here and St. Benedict over here. So come on in the church.
Holy, like as soon as you walk in here, you know, like the foyer, it doesn't prepare you for this giant space you just walk into.
Right, for sure. It is a pretty massive church, but the idea when it was built in 1966 was to be able to host and hold every single member of our college community.
Oh wow!
Which is about 2,000 undergraduate students plus faculty and staff. So
yeah,
we can certainly do that.
This will hold 2,000 people?
Roughly, yeah.
That's incredible. This is huge.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I noticed coming in is this stained glass is really unique. It's massive, and it's like what does this represent? What does it mean, this stained glass?
So there's a traditional thought that our center window here represents the Father, order out of chaos. So it's the creation we typically think of. That this window over here represents the Son, because blue and gold are in the Eastern Church, in the Eastern tradition, are symbols of royalty and kingship. So Jesus Christ, King of the universe.
Yeah.
And that this window here with all its reds is the Holy Spirit.
Sure.
That's a traditional way of looking at it. The way I look at it too is, if you look at not just the three main windows, but all the little stained glass windows.
Yeah, there's lots of little
church.
tucked away spots.
You've got all kinds of colors, shapes, and sizes. And isn't that the church, right? All types of people, all different walks of life, everywhere, gathered around one thing. They're gathered around the altar, they're gathered around Christ.
That's beautiful.
To me, that represents the church. So this is an interesting architectural feature, as you can hear.
Yes, it is.
Because we have a round roof, and because the support beams of the church all gather one beam, one ring at the top, it creates a whisper spot, which is what you're hearing right now.
It's like no matter how quietly, it feels like I'm shouting.
Right.
Oh, that's bizarre.
Yeah, so if you know of the phenomenon in the old House of Representatives in Washington, D.C., it's the same phenomenon.
Wow.
Yeah. We've come from the big church, we call it, into the choir area, and the big feature here is the altar, which is Vermont marble. It's one solid piece of stone.
That's a lot of marble.
It's a lot of marble. This was actually put in first, and then the church was built around it.
Wow.
It was that big.
Yeah. This cross looks like a really unique feature.
Yeah, so it was, it's got Jesus, obviously the corpus there, but it's the medallions on the arms are for the four evangelists there. My favorite thing about this is that this cross has been suspended by piano wire since 1966. We've never had to replace the piano wire, so we live in hope, as it were. But it is a beautiful cross in that it both over on this side you have the corpus, but there's also a corpus on the back, so that when the monks are praying in choir or when we have mass up in the choir stalls, you can also see the corpus as well.
That's great. So this is it's a unique situation, right? Because the monks always sit over here, but if somebody was to come to Mass, they would come and sit in this part of the church.
So it's interesting. I say this church was built at the right time. It was built in 1966, and Father Christopher Hagen, who was the chair of the building committee, one of our monks at the time, wanted to make sure that no matter where you sat in the church, whether out there or up in the choir stalls, that you could always see the altar. So daily Mass is typically celebrated with the congregation sitting in the choir stalls and the priest here celebrating Mass. But when we have those larger Masses, Sunday Mass, for example, everyone sits out here and the priest would face this way as well. So we have the option for, a couple thousand people out here or just 100 people in here.
Yeah.
So we come up behind the altar here into the choir stalls, and this is where the monks would celebrate the liturgy of the hours. We gather at 6 a.m., 12 noon, and then sometime in the evening. We adjust our schedule based on when the students are here versus when they're not here. And so we can fit about 100 people in these choir stalls here, but the monks gather. This is where we gather to pray as a community.
So where's the Blessed Sacrament reserved in the church then?
So we have a separate Blessed Sacrament chapel, which is behind us. The Blessed Sacrament is reserved in the tabernacle, surrounded by mosaics from both the life of Christ, but also events and things that you would know in the Old Testament.
So all of salvation history.
All of salvation history.
Pointing towards the tabernacle.
Exactly, and of course, the center point being the cross.
Of course. So you've got Jonah and the whale.
Melchizedek.
Okay.
The apostles catching fish.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The beasts in Isaiah.
Yeah, and the mountain of the Lord. Yeah, okay.
You've got the crucifix. You've got Mary, Our Lady of Sorrows, and Adam and Eve.
Oh, the new Adam, the new Eve.
Adam,
yeah, okay.
You have the sun and the moon surrounded with the cross. This is meant to represent the garden.
Oh, the garden. Yeah.
The Garden of Eden and Noah. Noah.
Okay. Yeah. He's got the animals. Yeah. So it's like all of history and then life and the renewal of life, all here around the Blessed Sacrament.
And you've got up there the serpent. You've got the wise owl, the foolish monkey, representing the virtues as well.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
It really looks like the owl's wearing glasses.
I know. So this is one of my favorite architectural pieces in the church, and you can actually see it on all the walls. It's called a herringbone bricklaying pattern. And what you have is you have a small brick here, you have a rectangular brick here, and you have another small brick here, which means you have a cross, if you see.
Oh wow, yeah.
That, and you can see they're everywhere. And those are spread all around the church, so that when you're in here, you're surrounded by thousands of crosses.
The entire church is built on the cross.
On the cross. Exactly.
That's amazing.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is a monastery. This is a Benedictine abbey. How is this connected to the Diocese of Manchester?
So we would not be here without the Diocese of Manchester. We were invited here in 1889 by Bishop Bradley, who was the bishop of the diocese at the time. He invited monks from Newark, New Jersey to come up here and to start a college for the French, Canadian, and Irish immigrants' children, for all the mill workers in Manchester, because for them, going to Boston College or Holy Cross was both too far and too expensive. And so we were asked to start a college. And so monks from Newark moved up here in 1889, and we founded a monastery and we founded a college. And we are here to serve the people of the Diocese of Manchester and beyond. But we would not be here without the Diocese of Manchester.
And it's one of those things that I've heard before, and I think it's so true. Like the church needs prayer so much. And to have a group of men, other convents, and to have groups of people together whose mission is to pray is such a powerful thing, a real gift to the people of the diocese. Right, for sure. And we do include people of the diocese, priests of the diocese, lay people of the diocese in our daily prayers as well. One of the wonderful things about this church is in 1962, when the idea to build this church was still being formed, Cardinal Cushing down in Boston gave a speech here in which he said that St. Anselm didn't have a heart. And so he pledged a significant amount of money to help us build this church, and it was built, 4 years later. In 1966 is when it was completed. But since then, we have called this church the Heart of St. Anselm. And especially during COVID, when we sent students home at the beginning, we didn't have anybody in the church for about 6 to 8 months. We have been saying that the heart still beats, and that's because the monks were still here, saying our prayers, having Mass for the people of God. And that's so true of the church. Exactly. What makes the life of the church, what makes the church's heartbeat, it's the life of prayer. Right, and the church is always at prayer, and we're just one example of that. We're just one way of doing that. Well, brother, thanks so much for having us. Thanks so much for showing us around this beautiful church. Thank you, Father Josh. We're glad to have you, and we're glad to have anybody who wants to visit. One of the things that I think is really striking about this church and walking around this church is, as Brother Francis told us, we have these crosses built literally into the bricks. The very foundation of the church is the cross. But it's not just the building, it's what goes on in this building, right? It's not just the cross, it's people living out the way of the cross every day, living this life of prayer. So it's not only the building, but it's what the building represents and what goes on inside of the building that all contributes to this just like deep, intense atmosphere of prayer that you feel walking into this building. So we're here with Abbot Mark, who is the abbot of St. Anselm's Abbey. And Abbot Mark, thanks so much for having us.
Thank you, Josh.
And so what would, if somebody was to come and visit, what would you like them to know about this beautiful church?
I think I would want to concentrate on the beautiful artwork that is here. The stained glass windows were done by a man named Nicholas, Joep. He died decades ago, but in the stained glass world, he would be, I'd say, world famous.
Oh, wow.
He's from Holland, and he moved his family out of Holland in 1938, just a short time before the Nazi machine moved into the lowlands. He brought with him his wife and his daughters. They are also very gifted artists. His daughter worked on the Blessed Sacrament Chapel, which is to my left. It's a mosaic. It took her a year to do. There are stones that she put sorted by color, did biblical themes. It's quite worth viewing. Our Father Cecil, who is 93, helped her by putting in a couple of pieces of stone.
Oh, wow.
While he was doing the windows, his wife did 3 poured stone statues, one of St. Anselm, our patron, one of St. Benedict, the founder of our religious order, and one of Jesus and Mary. Jesus has a little, maybe 3-year-old with a toy in his lap. It's quite charming. That's downstairs. The 2 of Anselm and Benedict are in the foyer of the church. Very, very well executed, very worth taking a look at. Mm-hmm. That was the mother did those. The daughter was doing the mosaic. The father was doing the window. So all 3 were here at the same time.
That's a beautiful thing, the family working on. It speaks to the community of the church. Right?
Very, very nice thing. The church, I think, speaks for itself. I always love bringing people in here because the church sits quite well from the outside into the campus, and people are quite surprised, shocked even, when they walk through the door and look up. The ceiling, I think, is about 85 feet from the floor.
That was certainly my reaction walking in. It was like, all of a sudden you're in this huge space that you just don't expect to see.
Yes, it is. It's captivating. Yeah. So we have about 31 monks in our community right now. We have 3 of those monks are at our monastery in California at Woodside. We have a school out there. We have a young man who just graduated who's coming to us in January. But our church here, we think, is really the heart of our campus. It's been expressed to others that way over and over again, and I think people feel that way about it. We have many alums come here who met here at college to get married here. We've done funerals here, very significant friends of ours, as well as the funerals of the community members of the Benedictines.
Now, I understand that, since you have the monastic community here, there's more than Mass that people can come to. People can come and pray with the monks as well?
Yes, and we welcome people to come. We have morning prayers a little early, 6 o'clock, but we do have a couple of students that come fairly regularly to morning prayer. We have guests all year round in the monastery, mostly priests on retreat, but they join us usually for morning prayer, noon prayer at noon, and then in the evening we have Vespers. And it depends on our schedule with the students, but our Mass is usually at 5:15 in the evening. We get a good complement of neighbors and people from the campus, staff and students who all come to the church to celebrate with us. COVID was very difficult for us. I don't think that we realized just the impact that our friends and our guests had on us till they weren't there.
Sure.
And then we really missed them. I think the community prayer life does make a nice impression on people. I think it is something that you don't see every day. It's a group of men that are living here, that are dedicated to the life, and it's a pretty well developed and richly developed liturgy of the hours. So I think people would benefit from it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to experience if you never have this, beyond Mass, this other prayer that we do together as a church. Well, Abbot Mark, thank you so much for joining us and for talking to us today.
Okay, Father Josh, thank you very much. Okay.
We talk on this when we do these pilgrimages about finding hidden gems, about surprising places, and that to me is what this was. You're on a college campus. There's all this stuff going on. And even the building itself, it's not, it doesn't scream out, hey, this is a church. But when you open those doors and you walk into this huge space, it just takes your breath away. And it's just incredible, this opportunity to be able to go there and to pray, and not just to pray, but to experience kind of the life of the monk, to experience the prayers that they pray every day, the prayers that are said all over the world for the good of the world, for the good of the church, for humanity. It's really incredible. St. Anselm, absolutely a beautiful place to come. Check out that church. If you get a chance to come and pray with the monks, you absolutely should do that, or come to Mass, or even just stop in and pray. Beautiful place. So thanks everybody for watching another road trip pilgrimage. Please, if you've enjoyed this, comment, subscribe to the channel, leave us some notes about where you'd like us to go next. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, what's the craziest thing you've ever heard shouted from this echo spot?
When I was...
Nobody... it is beautiful, the altar, and Raul's making us do this.
It's where everything happened.
I'm so confused. Everything is the worst. Don't put that in the video.